and welcome to Real Talks by Australia Group. So I'm so excited to introduce you today, Michelle, and we will be talking about her successful story about coming to Australia. Why did she choose Australia as a main country to do her degrees? And welcome, Michelle. So happy to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me here today. It's my pleasure to receive this, podcast invitations. To be honest, this is my first time doing a proper podcast, so I'm very excited. So my name is Michelle, and I've been in Australia for 7 years. During that time, I've been a event marketing and sales executive at ATMC for 5 years, and that has been my best experience ever. So once again, thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, well, as you may know, you were international student. I was international student. So one of the things that we are worried about traveling to overseas is I don't speak the language, or maybe I do speak the language, but I don't know anyone. So what was that? What was that make you to take the decision to come to Australia?
Yeah, so back when I was in Vietnam, I mean, like every other developing country, we kind of want to get out of our country to explore because we were young, right? Mm-hmm. And young and bold, and we was like, if I keep staying here, where's gonna lead me to? So anyhow, any state in life, you're gonna make decisions. I remember back in 2016 when I decided, okay, I'm sick of just doing the 9-to-5 job. I need to study and to get a higher education degree so that I can proceed further in my career. And then I remember I was in the process of choosing where I can go, because from Vietnam we have so many options, and every option back then were all good to me. But then, I still remember Australia was not on my top list, wow. To be very honest. Okay. But then when it comes to, with me, everything that every decision that I made, it need to have some logic. It need to have some criticals in there. So I was doing some comparison when I choose the destination of study. It's not only about ranking. It's not only about the the environment, because I watch movie and every country's our Vietnam is so fascinating, So it's not really too much about the environment, but then it's about what I'm gonna do after I graduate. So I remember back then, Australia is one of the countries that lets students firstly not only study but also working, mm-hmm. Which I'm like, okay, it might help me in some points. It's not only about the money, but also I can really understand how Australian culture is when I involve myself in the actual workplace, even though it might not like corporate work or anything back then. And then the second thing is when I read the rules about student visa very carefully myself, which I find that a lot of students might neglect this step because they think that, somebody already helped them, so they just kind of be chill and go. But then that's one of the steps where, with me, I think it's critical, because then I know what the rights that I have and how I can utilize that rights. I know that, okay, after my graduation of 2 years master degree, I can stay here for 2 years. Back then it was 2 years because my study field was just Master of Commerce Marketing. Mm-hmm. So it was 2 years, and then I'm like, great. So whatever I study, I can utilize in the real world. It's not just, study and then have to go back right away, which is a waste, because, you can't really use anything in the real world, and you just pack all the academic stuff and go back home. Mm-hmm. So that's the two main reasons why Australia become from not on the list to top of the list.
And the opportunity to work at Australia, and now as a student, international student, live in Australia, cover their expenses. It gives you a little bit of relief, right?
Yeah, yes, of course, because not every student come from developing country like Vietnam will have that opportunity to cover everything. And when Australia is, the government have been so nice to give that opportunity to student, it's a relief for us, and also it's a chance for us as well, because you never know during the time that you were doing that sort of working, you can you not only enhance your skill, but also maybe the employer might like you and keep you for later on, which that's my case.
Exactly. That's one of the things that I want to ask you. Like, of course, when we are traveling to another country, we pack our things, so excited, new people, new friends. But also, we have to come with a realization that we need a mindset for that to be able to achieve success, right? You need a mindset. So what was your mindset in that moment when you say, okay, I'm enrolled in this university, I'm going to study? What else was with you when you came to Australia? What was in your mind that made you focus and keep going and going to be now who you are?
To be very honest, everybody gonna have a different target. With me, my goal and target appear very clear when I decided to go, because I know if I make a decision, my parents have to pay a huge amount of money. They already have paid a huge amount of money for me to come here and study. So if I don't think through and I just let things just flow and be YOLO, then if I fail or something, it's gonna be a fortune amount of money for my parents. So that's the first reason why I was very keep my goal clear in the very beginning. And the second thing is that I understand with me, when I look at the market, I kind of see and try to predict how the market will be like. Because a lot of people say that, I don't know what I'm gonna do after graduating some sort of degree, or I must graduate this degree in order for me to enter that job. But it actually might not be like that, because employer, they need employee, or they need person who actually can deliver and contribute something for them. And be able to do that, you have to have all the skill and knowledge that needed. And sometimes one skill, one certification might not be enough, especially right now. So when I enrolled in the university, I was thinking about what is the return on investment. Okay, I paid that amount of money. What would be the return for me during that 2 years? And then when I spend that 2 years studying, whether it worth it, because not only money, time is also valuable. I don't want to just spend my time in some, random school and then waste that time. Where if that time I can choose a proper school, choose the field that I'm confident with, and knowing that that field would lead me somewhere. So I'm not only not waste my money, but not waste my time. Where a lot of students, they think about the phase of not wasting money, but they don't really care about their time because they think that they have time. But to be honest, money, you can make it. It will come and go. But then time is something, once it's gone, it's gone.
Yes, that's correct. So when you tell us about what are you doing at the moment and how did you get there?
Yeah, okay. So, Australia have been very nice to me, to be honest. So I'm currently holding a marketing sales event positions at ATMC Education Group, Australian Technical and Management College. And initially, when I joined the workforce after my graduation, I didn't know that I would get into education because my background was retail. And I love retail, like all women's like beauties and, skincare and all that stuff. Yeah, completely different words. And I was really enjoy the time of doing that as a beauty advisor. Back before I joined ATMC, people was like, how can you get that job? That sounds like a fancy job and you just been here for a few months and you're an international student and you are Asian. And I was like, the reason why I got into that job because I don't really care about those factors. I only care of what I have. So I know that I have the ability to communicate. Yes, English is not my first language, but a lot of people in Australia whose English is not their first language. So that shouldn't be the barrier. I mean, to be very fair, when you come to an English-speaking country, you should and must have English. So that is help your life by a lot.
Definitely.
Not only study, but also like, of course people are gonna hire you because you know the language, you can communicate. But then, I don't think that's a barrier because I have been practiced and give myself a lot of time to practice English when I know that I'm gonna go. And then after that, I don't let the thinking of, I'm just international student to stop me from doing that.
Exactly.
Because I know, okay, doesn't matter, I'm international student. Do you know what I have?
Exactly.
I have the international mindset.
Exactly.
I came from Asia, I came from Vietnam, where the industry is so tight and so tough that you have to serve the customer on the right way. If you check online, when you do like customer service and all that stuff, most of them are from like, Vietnam have been famous for hospitality, something like that. So I make that into my strength. So one of the key thing in here is that if you know your strength, you can turn that into your, strongest weapons when you go out there. Because people like, you're Australian, yes, that's really nice thing because you understand the Australian people. But then what if your clients are from international? Because we have international people coming here, tourists.
Exactly.
How will you serve that? How will you do that? Then after that, I kind of, another mindset that I have is if I haven't tried something, nobody can tell me that I can't do it.
100%, yes.
Only when I try it, I try so hard and I fail, okay, maybe it's not for me. But then if I haven't tried it and you come and tell me that, you can't do it, no way it's gonna be in my head. So that's one of the things that I think a lot of people as international students coming here have to have that very strong mindset about that.
Yeah, I think people need, in general, the focus should be to focus in what you can give and what you have.
Your strength,
Instead of
you.
focusing on what you don't have. And if you, as you mentioned before, because of course people that are listening and watching us today are from everywhere. Yeah, so instead of focusing in, okay, maybe I don't speak perfect English, but this is a multicultural country, right? Where people from everywhere, they will come here to study, to learn new things,
to travel,
to grow as a person, as a professional. So, and one of the great things you said before is no one can tell you you can do things, only yourself. That's only one thing that you decide. As a human, you decide if I can or if I can't. And even if you fail, you can try again.
Yeah.
Because maybe sometimes once is not enough for you to.
Like, I mean, a lot of billionaires have failed so many times, but they never tell you. So we saw them on TV, we saw them on podcast. You saw me today on podcast and thinking that, okay, Michelle have a flawless life where, she's just sitting here and saying about those things. But then, of course, there are times when I'm like, there are times that I think, okay, am I making the right decisions? I think a lot of international students like myself have at least one time during their journey asked themselves that question. Because you don't know, you were young, right? But then if you keep believing that, okay, anyhow, whatever you go, wherever you do, it gives you something later on. And then you keep going for that and you keep reflecting yourself. Let's say, okay, today I'm not doing this right. Why? Why not? What is wrong? So self-reflect is something that I've been practicing and doing during my journey. Because sometimes somebody might say something to you and upset you. Instead of, fight back or just, say something impolite or, be very negative, I just try to reflect on, okay, so what should I do next? Is that something I can be better after what they give me? I don't feel offended about that. I never really feel offended when people give me comments. I just feel like maybe because you cannot control what people think. You can only control how you feel and how you show them. So that's how normally I just trying to be better and trying to show them that, no matter what you say, I will just keep going. And I will just, go the direction that I already made, because my life is mine. Even though people can say, I remember 3 years back, when a lot of my friends know that I was studying Master of Commerce Marketing. And they were like, oh, if you're doing that, how are you going to stay in Australia? How are people going to hire you? Because, people are not going to hire a freshly international student graduate. Because there's a lot of people in Australia doing that stuff. And I'm like, yes, thank you so much for your advice. I mean, I'm taking it. But then whether I'm going to do things is my thing,
Exactly.
And 3-4 years later, I'm here. And I got into a job that is marketing event, and secondly, I got sponsored because of that job. So my company now sponsor me. I have a huge thankful and grateful for what they've done, and they've helped me to grow as a person. And then after getting the 482 visa as an employer sponsor, where nobody think that I would be sponsored. And I'm like, because that's what you think. This doesn't mean that everybody's gonna think that, especially employer. And then after got that sponsor, I did went back to Vietnam because it was COVID-19. It's a tough time for everyone. And I think I make the decisions that nobody thought I would make, because they will be thinking why the company is still willing to sponsor you, but you decide to resign. And then I was like, if I feel that I have no value at that moment anymore, I don't want to take the benefit that the company is giving me. Because I feel that I'm wasting their resource. People think that, oh, but you have to think about your benefit. I'm like, yes, that's true with some case, but in my case, I know what I want and I know how I feel if I keep doing that, and I'm not feel comfortable with it. So I was just thinking to myself, okay, let's back and to go home. And when I go home, I just think, okay, it's a good time to visit family. I haven't been back to Vietnam for like few years, and I try to turn every negative moment into a positive one. Let's say, okay, people might think that, I cannot get sponsored anymore. I'm going back to my country now. But then how about thinking, yes, you are going back to your country with all the knowledge and experience that you have had. And you have chance to visit your families where in COVID-19, they are all fine. They are all well and nobody have any issues.
That's what really matters.
That's really matter. And then when you go back at that moment, you feel that, that's a valuable time because you have never feel connected to them like now. And I spent 1 year with them. I think that meant to be.
Yeah.
Things happen as it need to be. When I go back, I help my sister going through her teenagers time.
You embrace every moment, right?
Yeah, and then I feel so happy that I make the decision to go back. And then after that, I was able to work in it's like a community school where I kind of mentor and helping young people to think about what their purpose in life, because a lot of young generations right now, they keep asking that question, like why I'm here, what am I doing, how to find a purpose. So I'm trying to kind of make myself useful by deliver that. And I think the time in Australia for that 5 years have helped me to grow another person, like less drama. How when you're young you kind of like to fight and like to prove that you're right, but I'm over that time. And now right now I just want to tell people that do whatever you feel like, and find the purpose where it actually make you happy. Sometimes it's not money, sometimes it's not the destination, but even just the duration from where you start to where you end, that duration is happiness already. And then
During the journey.
yeah, that's
During the
journey.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden in 2022 last year, when everything changed in the system, so I got invited back in Australia. And that's why I said, you only need to have the skill, you only need to be prepared and go as you do, because a lot of people think that I want to stay here so I can do whatever. But actually you have to think about the market, what the market needs, what Australia needs, and how you could fit into that. Like 100 people doing the same qualification, how will you stand out? I'm not a person who's gonna stand out because my academic is never really like that high. It's like a mediocre thing. But then because I know my strengths,
Exactly.
so I'm very flexible, I'm very resilient. I think resilient is something that I have, and be very responsible with whatever I do, whatever I take in with me. And that's what a lot of employer and company needs. And to be honest, right now, if a company sponsor you, if a company happy with you, then they're gonna keep finding a way for you to stay with them.
100%, yes.
A lot of people, a lot of friends and young friends were asking me, but how can I find that job? It's too hard. And I say, the moment you say it's hard, it's already impossible for you.
Yeah, so I remember when I came here, one of the things I had to do is try to get and do what I love. So I had to go through so many interviews, and one of the small things that's the first step. It's not hard. It's you trying 1, 2, 3 times and practicing that you don't know. You get the skills. You have to practice every day to become the person you want to be in the future, I believe. And one of the things you mentioned before, to be resilient. I think that is a key. To be resilient means that you have to be uncomfortable sometimes to be able to achieve that goal and be clear on what you want. You mentioned that at the beginning of the conversation. If you know where are you going and what do you want, so the second thing there will be resilient, because nothing's come from just happening, close your eyes and then practicing and practicing. Yes.
And also, a lot of people watching this episode will think that, but if I don't know what I want, what I'm gonna do? That's the question that I receive a lot when I was doing mentor in Vietnam.
Okay.
And I'm like, in order to find what you like and what you love and what you feel with, you have to try. Doesn't matter, maybe right now it might cost you something, but because you're young, so you still have that time to practice, to try. And once you try, until some point you will feel that, okay, I like this more than the other. Because if you don't try it, you can't compare. You don't try 2 things, you can't compare those 2 things together. You only try one thing, you only know that one thing. But that one thing might not be the right one.
Exactly.
So you gotta have to go out there to stop yourself from thinking, I can't, how am I supposed to? What can I do? Just do it.
Yeah, and another thing is sometimes we want to do things and we want everything to be perfect. And I'm sure that part of your role has some parts that you probably don't enjoy, right? It doesn't mean that you won't do what you love. You will do what you love, but that part of the role can have some things that you will have to do and it's not part of your... So then why can't you try to identify what are the things that you like to do when you are alone? What are the things that you do when you are with your friends, with your family? And from there something can
something just pop out of your mind, and
maybe it's helping people, maybe it's working in IT, maybe you spend a lot of time on the phone and you didn't even realize that you are so good downloading apps or using different systems. So not always the response is there, but you have to dig to find out that.
And nobody can find that for you, to be honest. Like, we can give you advice, we can tell you our stories, but it's the matter of you trying to find the thing within you. And sometimes your brain gonna play a game with you a little bit, like it's create those puzzles in your head and leading you everywhere. But once you kind of win the game of your mind, you actually start to be clearer of where you're gonna go next. And that's what happened with me as well. I was the person who I like to draw. I used to like to draw so much, but when I grown up, I studied business. I mean, something that very general, because like everybody right now, young generation, sometimes they are actually better than us before, because they know what they kind of want to go into. But then when I was doing my bachelor degree, I did business because I don't know what else that I could do. I don't like finance, I don't like numbers. I like art, but I got stopped because I don't know whether it's gonna lead me somewhere. That same fear. Over time, when I go out, and that's why I say the time in Australia was very valuable to me, because that time nobody's tell me what to do. Every decision that I made is on me.
Exactly.
You make the wrong decision, you pay for it. You make the right decision, you're gonna give you something in returns. So that's I think the time where I can really break free and look into myself and think, okay, so now I'm alone. What do I eat next day? That's a decision that you have to make, right?
Small decisions.
What you gonna spend on your first salary? Where you want to go, and between those two shoes, which one I'm gonna buy, something like that. Where before your mom was getting things for you, your dad was like taking you to all of that place, and you don't really have to make any decisions because they make for you, especially in Vietnam. So I think the way I see the opportunities in Australia is not only about the work, it's not only about the study. Of course, the qualification in Australia is international recognized, so you can obviously live anywhere after that. Singapore, Hong Kong, Europe, anywhere, because you have that qualification in your hand. So don't stop yourself from just being here. When you're young, explore, and then maybe sometime later on you might want to live somewhere else in Australia, or you might want to come back to Australia for something, right? And then during that process, try to enjoy it a little bit. A lot of people are stressing out. Oh my God, my visa is running out. Oh my God, I have to pay the tuition fee next month. I know that that is a real life. But sometimes trying to stay calm and think on how we can solve that problem one by one, rather than going crazy and oh my God, that doesn't really help. So
one of the things I mentioned to my clients when they come here is they said, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I don't have the money. Right? So that is one of the biggest limitations when you are taking a decision. And I always said to people, you won't buy a house if you think you have all the money in the pocket. You won't buy your car if you think you don't have everything. So you can't make decisions based on your current circumstances. You have to make decisions believing that the step that you are taking
is leading you there.
Lead you to the big goal, but enjoying that process, as you mentioned before, enjoying that everyday journey where will be happy moments and ups and downs.
And try to make friends, try to create the connection everywhere you go. Like for example, me and Tati and Naz and everybody here, we didn't know each other 2 months back.
Exactly.
But then how we know each other is just because hi, hello, how are you? So it's not too hard to make friends here in Australia because people know that a multicultural country. So you don't have to limit yourself and think that other people might judge you because you don't really speak the right language. That's not the key. If you speak to them, they understand what you're saying, great. And then they will be the one who help you to improve your English. So when I work at a coffee shop, I try to choose the one that have a lot of local clients, so that I can practice English with them by day-to-day stories. And then they don't mind correcting me if I'm wrong, and I don't mind learning from them every time. And I learn the whole phrase. I don't learn the word. Like for example, they say the whole sentence. I mimic that, and then I remember that. That's how I kind of learned the communication in English. But back there in Vietnam, we learn in the way that, okay, this is A, this is B plus A, this is the grammar. And then it's all like the grammar thing. Oh my God, I'm not speaking the right grammar. What can I do?
Yeah, that will stop you too. So as you said before, sometimes the brain can say tricky things to yourself.
Yeah, play games with you.
You need to make sure that you don't believe everything your brain is telling you, because most of the time it creates excuses for us to continue.
Yeah.
Like you said, I speak English, but maybe my English is not super fluent. So that will stop you to go and do something else because you already got that in your mind thinking, I can't do it. It's funny, but when one of my jobs in Australia, when I went for an interview, my manager said to me, and she probably will watch this, but she said to me, I am happy with you and I want to give you the opportunity, but the commitment here is that you let me to correct your English when you are speaking.
Oh,
and
wow.
You will believe that no one will tell you that in an interview.
Yeah.
But she just loved the fact that she could see in me what I could bring to the business. The only condition was I let you come in, but I want to make sure that if I said to you, please, that's not the way you said that, so you can take that on, a good feedback. So having good feedbacks and bad feedbacks, as you mentioned before, in general is really the best thing that can happen to anyone, because that will allow you to grow as a person.
Yeah.
But even in your own language.
Yes, of course. I make mistake in my own language. And that's about your store managers or your own managers. It remind me of like last 2 weeks my boss was actually telling me, Michelle, do you know that ChatGPT is there? Sometimes if you want, you can put your sentence in there to see if it's actually proper English. Like maybe other people might find it a little bit like what, but then I find that funny, and I actually have ChatGPTs on my laptop every day now, and I was actually, wow, actually when I put it there, the language that they correct me sounds more natural. And I'm like, okay, so I'm learning. So that's the process of learning, and that's the process of how you take the feedback in with a positive mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Positive, yes, exactly. Positive. Well, thank you so much, Michelle. I think this means a lot for us and for everyone watching us today. We hope you can learn a lot from Michelle's story in Australia, and thank you so much for being here with us today. So, if you want to know, we would love to hear about your opinions about this podcast today. We would love to know what would you like to learn from us, so then we can go and find the right people for the next podcast. Thank you so much.